So I am 12 hours into my drive right now. It's 5 p.m. I started driving by 5:30 a.m. Driving from Miami, Florida to North Carolina to see my girlfriend for our 3-year anniversary. And the entire time, obviously I can't sit down and get work done on my laptop like I typically do throughout my day. But the whole time I've just been downing educational videos, personal development, mindset, just trying to reinvest my time back into myself. And I watched this one video, this 45-year-old dude talking about things that he wished he did and he learned in his 20s. I'm 20 years old right now, living in Miami, Florida, trying to make something out of nothing. And honestly, a lot of the things that he talked about were just reassurance that I'm doing the right thing. Being a risk taker, enjoying moments, not giving into vices like alcohol, weed, porn, parties, all this stuff, right? A lot of it was just reassurance. But one thing that he said in the video that really, really stuck out to me, that it gave me like, holy shit, this perfectly resonates with what I feel right now. I moved to Miami a month ago, and I can say this with I'm so grateful to say this, but for the first time in my life, I'm actually experiencing financial stress. Meaning that I grew up with such a blessed family that were able to provide food for me, put food on the table, provide housing for me, clothes on my back, a nice car to drive. Like I'm literally, I have such a soft landing of a life, if that makes sense. And I'm grateful for everything that I have, and I know it's such a blessing. But moving to Miami and having to worry about my bills, having to worry about literally like the night of whether I'm gonna have to sleep in my car or not, whether I can afford, like I had to cut down immensely on the food that I had to eat in a week just because I couldn't afford it, not having job security, not being able to make money, having to worry about my rent the next month, having to worry about getting kicked out because I couldn't pay rent, food, just the basics, having gas in my car. And it's the first time in my life I actually experienced financial stress. And I know it's only been a month, but something he said in this video really resonated with my current situation. I'm thinking, take on this stress right now. I'm 20 years old. Take on the stress right now. Be selfish in the way that I have to cut my expenses down. I have to worry about just myself right now in my early 20s to build the wealth for my future. Because think about this, right? Whether you've experienced financial stress or not, think about any time in your life you've been stressed before. Maybe it was a final exam week you had for school. Maybe it was a big, sporting event you had going on, like a basketball, football game. Maybe it was, a relationship that ended. Imagine going through that stress and having the responsibility of a wife and kids, and having to pay the bills for your family the next month, having to put food on your table the next month, having to put a roof over your kid's head the next month. And I'm experiencing all this stress right now, but I really have I don't have much to lose, bro. I really don't have much to lose. It's kind of like I'm playing the lottery with an infinite amount of tickets. Because it's not like when I scratch this ticket off and see if I won the prize or not, then, if I lose it, then I just, my life is done. Worst case scenario, I moved to Miami from Richmond, Virginia. I just moved back to Richmond, Virginia. Worst case scenario, this month has been tough for me mentally, and I can't lie, it's crossed my mind a couple of times whether or not I'm gonna have to move back to my hometown, just because the financial stress is just so heavy. The job security stress is just so heavy. Not knowing whether or not I have a place to sleep the next night is just weighing down on me. Every single day it feels like there's something new, and like the day, sorry, not the day before, but literally when I left this morning at 5 a.m., like just experiencing stress as I'm leaving my place in Miami, if I can even come back to the place I'm at. And I'm thinking, all this stress I'm experiencing right now, how grateful am I to experiencing it right now, instead of having to put people that I actually love and care for through it. Having a wife and kids to worry about and putting them through financial stress. Because imagine having to have a conversation, an argument with your wife and kids about Imagine telling your kid you don't have the money to put food on their table next month, bro. Like, I just cannot fathom that. And it's so reassuring. It's such a good feeling. It gives me a new perspective and a new lens to look at it from, that I'm experiencing all this stress to myself in my early 20s instead of offloading it onto my future family. Because I put it like this, right? Ultimately, like, I've been a heavy hitter with risk taking. I dropped out of college at 19 years old. I was pursuing a finance degree, which, looking back at it now, like, why? Like, it was so pointless to me. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I just thought that I should do a business finance degree because I thought it's something I was passionate about. But I really had no purpose of going to college. And I dropped out. I started my first business, which ultimately failed. And I was ultimately thinking, like, what am I doing in my life? Like, I'm being so selfish right now. Dropping out of school and having to put my parents through the stress of, like, worrying about if their kid's gonna do all right. But deep down, like, I know I was determined for more. I know I was destined for more than just pursuing the typical college degree route of graduating, going to your 9 to 5, working up the ladder. You know the story. And I knew I was destined for more. And the way I framed it in my mind, the way I would tell my girlfriend this, is that I'm being selfish in the now so I can be selfless in the future. And watching that video over and hearing the perspective of a man who has double the experience I have on this earth, it's just so reassuring that I'm doing the right thing. And I want to make this video as a ambitious 20-year-old trying to pursue his dreams, move into Miami, Florida with, like, literally nothing to my name except what my parents have given me, bro. Give me this soft landing. That you need to take risk, that you need to sacrifice how you feel in the current moment so you can have a life without financial stress in the future. Because obviously it's not going to be like a linear path towards success. I know once I'm successful, it's not going to be like all sunshine and rainbows, bro. There's no light without dark. And I'm not saying like I'm sacrificing now so I can just live just a happy life after. Because I know if I can live through this uncomfortable state in my life right now, that it's going to set my family up for the future. And that's ultimately like one of my biggest drivers, is providing for the people that I don't even know yet. The kid, one of my goals is to have kids one day with my girl, and I couldn't imagine bringing them into this world without having anything to give for them, having anything to provide for them. And hearing that video was like, dude, I'm on the right track. Because I was off track for a long time. I dropped out of college my 1.5 years into college, middle of my sophomore year. In my first year of college, bro, I was just doing fuck all with my life. Being shit-faced drunk Friday, Saturday night, you know, just dragging myself to classes, not really pursuing I was in a really low position mentally. You know, my relationship with my girlfriend was really just taking a toll at the time. And I just couldn't even recognize myself. I had no self-confidence. I had no self-love. It was one of the worst positions that I've been in. Not just financially, because I was in a dorm room, so I was kind of like provided for in that sense, but within my nutrition, within my health, within my education, my career, my business at the time. And I don't know why I would just choose that instant gratification of feeling good in the moment, of trying to detox on the weekends after a week full of classes, going to the club and experiencing the college life. That's what I was doing it for, the college life. I thought that's what I had to do. I was convinced through my environment at the time of high school that that's what my life should be like. Going out on the weekends, if I wasn't at the club, if I wasn't at a party, drinking, having a beer in my hand, dancing with my friends, talking to people, if I wasn't doing that, then I was doing something wrong. And I was convinced because my environment. And I was choosing that instant gratification. I was living in this false reality that I created within myself because I thought that was my standard. And I just knew deep down that I really didn't enjoy it at the end of the day. When I got home to my dorm at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, and I would just crawl into my bed, it was a, how do you call it, like the upper bunk bed. I'll crawl into it drunk as hell. After eating some pizza, my stomach was just insanely bloated. I knew I was doing something wrong. I knew there could have been more to life than just feeling this feeling every single weekend. Working, not even working hard, but just showing up to classes, doing the bare minimum in college to say that I had some sort of degree, say I was educated, make it feel like I was doing something, bro. I was living in a false reality. And it was the conscious moment where I realized that I just need to take a risk. So I dropped out of college. It was rough back then, try to plant my feet on the ground. I'm sorry if I'm tripping over my words. I've been up since 2:30 a.m. and again, I've been on the road since 12, so I haven't really talked to anyone. I've just been in my own thoughts. But I struggled to put my feet on the ground after I dropped out of college, and quite honestly, I'm going towards the direction that I want to go to now, living in Miami and pursuing my goals, my dreams, my desires, but it still feels like I'm planting my feet on the ground. And honestly, like the last 30 days has really felt like I've been making progress towards the man that I want to be. Like, I see it playing out in real time. From a year ago today, where I was just this confused 19-year-old, not knowing what I was going to do with my life, and actually feeling like what I told myself back then of being a self-sufficient man, having self-confidence, building a good mindset, a good physique, having habits in his life where it's just consistent, waking up early every single day, prioritizing his nutrition, prioritizing his relationships, being charismatic, having good communication skills, being a personally developed man. That vision that I had for myself back then, a year ago today, that I was just starting to create, and I didn't even know how that was going to come to fruition, is playing out in front of my own eyes. And it was the sacrifices that I made back then that I continue to make now, because I know it will give me a better future for the people that I actually care about. And that's the entire reason I wanted to make this video, is because I want to sacrifice and be selfish in the now so I can be selfless in the future. And I think that's all it is in your early 20s. So again, if you are an ambitious 20-year-old, if you know you are destined for more in this life than just instant gratification of going out to the club with people you don't even care about, people who don't even care about you on the weekends at college, if you're working a 9 to 5 after high school, I promise you're destined for more. I promise the bar will always be there, the clubs will always be there, but why not sacrifice now? Why not sacrifice now and live financially stress-free in your 30s when you actually have people that you care about? That's all I'm saying, bro. And I hope this message really hit someone. I hope someone resonated with this, because I'm glad that video that I just watched created a butterfly effect where I could talk about this on my own channel and talk about how I interpreted his message from a 45-year-old man to my own thoughts and my own current state. So I really hope this affects someone. If it did, join me on this journey. Subscribe to my channel, and I post content just like this. And I'm gonna get the fuck to my girl's place. 12 hours on the road. Still driving right now. I'm in North Carolina, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.